Do you believe that racism exists?
I believe that discrimination exists.
But
we
not
are
racist.
one race.
But not racism, right?
We're one race. How
Right.
can there be racism if we're one race?
So do you believe?
It's ridiculous.
Oh, okay. So you're saying no such thing as racist?
I do know there's a lot of discrimination.
Right.
And again, I as a child, I kept thinking, as I learned about how people were enslaved, I kept thinking, well, what do these people who call themselves white, how are they dealing with that? The fact that they took someone's life for their own and did not treat them well and would often beat them and completely disavowed the notion that they were human.
The same way in Africa. Remember, in Africa, black people enslaved other blacks in Africa.
Yes.
And then they sold them, they used them as money
But the
to buy products
institution
and
of
things like that. And when the Arabs came along, they sold the other blacks to the Arabs, and the Arabs sold them around the world. That's dehumanizing?
Well, of course it is. But
Is
here's
that
the
as
difference.
bad as what happened here, as you think what happened in America?
No.
Is it as bad as that?
The
Is it as
institution,
bad as that?
the institution
No,
of
answer that for
slavery.
me. Is it as bad as that?
Which?
What blacks did to other blacks in Africa, enslaving them, using them as money, beating them, selling them, was that as bad as what happened in America?
No.
That wasn't?
No. It was bad.
It was nicer?
It was bad, but no, the
Was it
institution of
nicer?
slavery is practiced in this nation.
No, I'm asking you first.
Was
Let's deal with,
permanent.
let's come back to it.
And
Was that
you could
nicer in
escape.
Africa being enslaved by other blacks?
Anytime your ability to make your own decisions is taken from you, it's wrong.
So was
Just
it
plain
as
wrong.
bad as what happened here?
No, what happened here was you were enslaved, your children were enslaved, you weren't
In
allowed to
Africa,
keep
too.
a family together. Not so much there, because
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
get out
Their
of
children
slavery.
were enslaved
They
by other blacks.
But they could work their way out. They weren't for life and for
No,
generations
they were
and forever.
sold. They didn't work their way out.
No, sir. At some point, you could work your way out.
Not
that
in
was
Africa,
not
you couldn't.
Like
But why do you
Africa is
say
several
it was-
nations. So tell me which part of Africa
Why
was
do
that
you
way?
say that it wasn't as bad? It was nicer to be enslaved by black people.
It's you just said Arabs. You said
No, they
all
were
sorts of
sold to
people.
the Arabs. As a matter
Well,
of
but
fact,
they were doing-
But,
what
but
were
why
they
do you
doing?
say it was nicer?
I didn't say that. I said that the institution of slavery as practiced in the United States was horrible.
But
it was
it
the
horrible in
lowest.
Africa?
I'll say again that anytime someone believes that they can enforce their will over another human being, it's wrong and it's horrible.
Right.
If you are the
so
person,
was it as
so-
horrible for the African as it is for America?
Well, since I wasn't there at the time, I can only opine
That's
from afar.
amazing. Like, if slavery is bad, you don't have to be there to know it. if
Well,
you
I'm
believe
working
that
to-
it's
do you know
bad.
how many people
But
are
you're trying to make
enslaved?
the Africans
Do you know how many
slavery
people are enslaved
nice.
today? Today, there's
Yeah.
modern slavery. 40 million people around the world
That's
are
right.
enslaved.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's happening right before our very eyes here in this country and in this city.
And the blacks are not saying anything about it.
Well, I'm saying something about it right now. I
want
just
to go
said
back to
something about it.
racism. So you don't believe that racism exists?
I believe that discrimination
How about
exists.
racism? Do you believe that
We're
exists?
one race. How could we have racism if we're all
So
the
does
same
racism
human?
exist?
Discrimination exists.
I'm asking you this other question. Are you a lawyer?
I am.
We are in court.
Yes, sir.
You got to answer
Yes.
the judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So does racism exist?
Discrimination exists.
I didn't
and
ask
people,
about discrimination.
I beg your, if it please the court. Racism as an idea exists in people's brain, but it's a nonsense idea because we're all the same race. Discrimination is the result of people believing that people are different, and because you have a different skin color, or you may speak differently, or your body shape is different, you're still human. So what point is there to say that there's racism? People have gotten jammed up by this word that came into being in the late 16th century, and we need to unjam our brains. We need to think critically.
So in thinking critically, you're saying no, racism doesn't exist. It's discrimination.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Is it wrong to discriminate?
Well, it's foolish
Is
because,
it wrong?
well, it depends. It's foolish. I mean, you
Is
discriminate.
it wrong?
I prefer chocolate ice cream to vanilla ice cream, so I would
Ooh, so you
discriminate.
like white guys?
I said I prefer
Oh,
chocolate
oh, you
ice
like
cream.
black guys?
Yep, chocolate is my vitamin C.
Oh, okay. So is it wrong to discriminate?
I think it's foolish because you lose opportunities if you decide in advance before you know a person or you know something. The most important thing, in my belief, is that we think critically. We ask why and why not. We ask, what is the purpose and why are you intending to have that purpose, and you think you'll have that outcome.
So is it wrong to discriminate?
Again, it's foolish to discriminate,
But I didn't
and
ask
by
you if it was
discriminating, you can
You
do
are
bad things to
intellectual.
people. If you discriminate, you do bad things to people.
No, I asked, is it wrong to discriminate?
I'm going to come back to my previous answer. It's foolish. You lose something of yourself, and you lose an opportunity. If it's a human you're discriminating against, you lose the opportunity to learn more from that human or appreciate that viewpoint.
Amazing. You're not answering my question. I thought you were
Oh,
going
I
to be
am
tough.
answering your question, but you don't like my answer. Now, that's something different.
But I'm asking, I asked yes or no question, and then if you want to follow up on that, you can add that, right? So is it foolish for you to like chocolate ice cream over vanilla? Is that foolish?
Well, we're talking about not discrimination. We're talking about what we
But
like.
you're discriminating against
I'll
vanilla.
eat vanilla, but I prefer chocolate.
So you'd take a white man, but you prefer a black one.
How did we go from ice cream to humans?
No, I'm playing.
How did that happen?
Have you ever dated a white man?
Why is that your business?
You don't have to answer. You absolutely don't, if you don't want to.
No, but the answer is no.
Oh, you have not? Are you sorry you didn't?
But you mean a man who calls himself white? Because
Right.
I have never seen a white person. And that's what got
look
me
over
as a
there.
child.
Look at that white guy in the hat.
Well, he's not white.
What color is he?
These chairs are white.
What color that guy?
He looks a little bit light tan to me.
Does
Or
he?
as my brother once described himself as being beige, which I thought was beautiful.
So do you love white people?
I love humans.
Do you love white people?
People who call themselves white, some of them I'm good friends with. Others I've never met.
Do you love those people who call themselves white?
I love humans. I don't necessarily like the way they behave.
Do you love those people who call themselves white? Do you love them?
I love all humans as a proposition. Now, those who've decided, or because the culture has told them that that's what they are, they're human.
And so those people who have decided to call themselves white, do you love them?
It's possible, but I don't like to make grand. Well, I've said that we're all human. I guess that's a grand definition,
It is grand, very
but it's
grand.
correct.
Do you love those people who decided to call themselves white? Do you love them?
Some of them, I'm sure I do. Some of them, I'm sure I don't. Those
You don't
people
love them
who
all?
storm, well, our previous president would go into that not like category because of what he does and what he stands for. The people who stormed our Capitol would have to go into that category. It's what
Into
they
what
do. It's not
category?
what they be.
Which category are you putting them in?
Who I wouldn't love.
You don't love those people who went into the Capitol building,
I don't love what they did.
but you love them.
They're human.
Do you love them?
I love all humans.
How about those that went into the Capitol?
I don't like what they did, and what they did was wrong
But do
because
you-
they were trying to destroy democracy.
But
They
do
were
you love
trying
them?
to create a dictator. I love them as humans. I do not like what they did.
Do you love the Great White Hope?
For what? Great White Hope for what? For
So
more.
you know
for
who
more,
he is, huh?
Well, I've heard people say that.
Call him the Great White Hope?
I thought that was a boxer, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think at one time there was a white boxer, but we're talking about Donald Trump, right?
Yes.
Do you love Donald Trump?
Boy, that would be tough for me to do that because of what he's done to people. He never pays anybody. He constantly doesn't fulfill his obligations as a human.
So do you love Donald Trump?
I don't
President
think so.
Trump?
I don't think so.
You don't. Amazing.